Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Ask Alexa Therapy Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I wanted to answer a question tonight. Tonight's going to be the first part of my three-part series on why don't I feel like myself since the pandemic. This is a question from a viewer that they sent in. The reason why I want to put this in three parts, because I feel this question really has many different layers for the different age groups. So the first part, tonight's series, is going to be about the younger children in grammar school, grade school, middle school, and high school, and how the pandemic has affected them, and why a lot of times I'm seeing in my practice and also from the viewers questions about why doesn't my child not feel like themselves anymore? Why don't I feel like myself anymore? And I think it's important that I break it up into three different layers to really explore, dissect, and really research and go over each different layer, but also with each different age group. So let's start with our younger people. What happened to them with the pandemic is everything that was our norm was taken away from us, especially our children, their school, their friends, going to class, going to sports, going to any type of activity, camp, seeing family members, grandparents, was taken away from them due to the pandemic. And I think so many times when this happens, just because also it was so unexpected and blindsided, but also for our younger people, this is the way they build their sense of self. This is how they were starting to create their identity, who they are, how they interact with other people, their friends, their peers, at school, with teachers, going to class, sports teams after school. And for so many years, about almost 2 years, even because sports didn't go back for a while, our children didn't have their usual norm of functioning socially, physically, mentally, verbally, and it really will impact our children in different ways. And I find that especially with our younger children, we might not be able to see it right away. This is going to be something we're going to have to watch as they develop emotionally and physically and the different stages in their life to really see how the pandemic has impacted them. But I do really recommend that you, the parents, the teachers, the caregivers, mentors, really step up and be able to open up this dialogue, because the children might not know really what's going on. And I think even for adults too, sometimes we just kind of keep going, putting one foot in front of the other and not really realize how we are impacted. But I think it's so important to be able to acknowledge this was a drastic change in our life. Our norm was taken away from us. And yes, we were constantly living in crisis for a while. Maybe we didn't feel like it because we were at home and having it with our family and our own routine. But to know of something of the unknown as the pandemic that we've never experienced personally was definitely frightening and anxiety provoking for many of my clients, young and older. So I'd really want to explore that layer with your child, really open up that dialogue, how they feel about it. And it's okay at first if they don't have an answer. I would keep this ongoing open dialogue as they move forward. A lot of times, a lot of people miss their prom. They miss their graduation. They miss their moving up ceremonies, their Regents exams, certain exams. And yes, they might say, oh, great, I didn't get to take my exam. But I think it's important to know these are different milestones in our lives that we accomplish, that we hit, that each person around us has also had. So our younger children of certain ages, didn't get to achieve those milestones. So I just wanted to make sure you check in with our younger children, the first graders, second graders, even pre-K, kindergarten, up to our high school students, to really find out how they are and watch them through the next couple of years, just to keep an eye on how they are functioning, how they are healing, and not just surviving, but thriving. So again, thank you for sending in your question. Please keep sending in your questions to info@askalexatherapy.com. Next week, I'm going on to the next age group. I will be addressing how the pandemic has impacted those from the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and why I'm hearing so many times through many of my clients, they're not just feeling like themselves anymore. There's some are saying, I'm not feeling depressed. I'm not feeling anxious, but I just don't feel like myself. And I really want to be able to validate that for you, the viewers. It's okay. that you don't sometimes feel like yourself. The world has gone through something different, and each person has been uniquely impacted by it. But I think the most important thing is to open up this dialogue and be able to have this conversation, and also to provide tools for you, the viewers, to be able to self-reflect and see how the pandemic has impacted you, but also your loved ones, your family, your peers. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep sending in all your questions. Everyone, have a good night and God bless.